And also reading this aloud and saying this aloud, different chapters and sections, parts and pages, maybe pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example, 7, 8, or 9, 7, 8, or 9, 7, 8, or 9, for example. Maybe to continuations, and very appropriate and safe and sound, very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. Very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time, and real family members and friends. And the man, individual person, also through the paraphrase, quotation, summarize, be with it. He's never really been tired or fatigued. Tired or fatigued about 0%, for example, for instance, so-called. Tired or fatigued about 0%, about none in number or percentage-wise, very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. Very appropriate and safe and sound. And real can-do attitude, and real excellent, fine and good, real good attitude, and a very happy-go-lucky, very obvious and very apparent. Very important resources, reserve, child support payments, family support payments, FSP, family support payments, FSPs, child support payments, CSPs, child support payments, CSPs. Very important resources, reserves, monies, currency, supplies, materials. Very important gestures, motions, movements, works, supplies, reserves, savings, partial holograms, holography, resources, monies, currency, supplies, materials, and resources. For example, age, very appropriate and safe and sound. A lot of entertainment resources, very interesting, maybe a lot of entertainment resources, monies, currency, supplies, materials. So-called prolongation, can-do attitude, very positive, plus, very positive, and plus, attitudes and resources, monies, currency, supplies, materials. Different so-called negatives, plus, negatives, minus, plus, a very extreme so-called can-do attitude, very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. Reading this book that are writing movie scripts and books that are writing jokes out loud, or extrapolation, generalization, inference. Very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time. Very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time. Very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. Very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. And we're real family members, FMs, and family friends. We're real kinships, and family members and friends. A lot of resources, monies, currencies, different jokes, gestures, motions, movements, and very appropriate and safe and sound jokes, and joking and bluffing and teasing and joking, and bluffing and teasing, kidding, and joshing, and bluffing and teasing and joking, for example, for instance, so-called. Very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time. Very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. Reading this loud and saying this loud. There's different books that are writing movie scripts and books that are writing jokes. Maybe about that, maybe not really about that, maybe out that time, not at that time. Maybe about that, maybe not about that, maybe out that time, not time. And for example, so-called. Paraphrase, quotation, summarize, abbreviated. Very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time. Very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time. Very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. Very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. And we're real family members, FMs, and family and friends. We're real kinships, KFs. We're real kinfolks, KFs, and real family members, FMs, and family and friends. A lot of good hints, signs, clues, and suggestions. Very excellent, fine and good about 100% of the time. Very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time. And we're real family members, FMs, and family and friends. We're real kinships, KFs. We're real kinfolks, KFs. We're real family members, FMs, and family and friends. For example.